What I love about doing this conference, sometimes you get to know companies you wouldn't have got to know before. Certainly not as a user. And maybe,
Where do you want me? Over there?
Where you would like to sit? Here better?
Yes.
So I'm not a user of Clue, but I'm an admirer. I'm an admirer of what you have accomplished. And
Thank you.
maybe either to set the scene, you can give us a little description or background on what the mission of Clue is. What is the objective or what is the problem you're solving?
So today it's quite difficult for women to really understand what's actually going on in their body. And because we have this biology that can give us children and it can give us pains and mood swings and many other interesting things, it's very helpful to understand what's going on. So the vision of the company really is to enable every woman on this planet to understand what's going on in her body so that she can live her life to the full potential and navigate life.
And how many users you have? Is that something you can talk a little bit about without giving us too many secrets?
Yes and no. So the last number we made public was 5 million active users. Now this number is quite outdated. I think we're soon going to say something else.
Okay.
But it's been going well.
And my understanding is it's a very much of a global app you have. You have users all over the world, is that right?
Yes, America is our biggest market, but Latin America is big, and about 40% of our users are from like all over the world. So not in any of our 10 top markets, but just spread all over. So it is the truly global user base that we have.
And have you raised capital for that?
Yes, you don't do like it would have been magic if we hadn't. We have raised 30 million euros.
And I mean, I looked at your shareholder base. Can you maybe talk about, because you have some very large names in there who are supporting this?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate to get, I think, very progressive and visionary people on board, both entrepreneurs early on as angels, and then later fantastic investors that we know can scale consumer apps massively. We have Union Square Ventures in New York that I really, really like. I think they're very mission-driven or kind of thesis-driven investors, which I really appreciate.
They're passionate about what they do.
They're passionate, but we also have NGP, which I really appreciate for being a very global-oriented fund.
That's Bo Ilse, who is coming to our conference since the very early days.
Yes, we have Walter on our board, a wonderful, lovely Finn that I really, as a Scandinavian, I think can really relate to. I mean, Bo is Danish, I can also relate to him. But yeah, and then we have, Mosaic and DFG Spring in London.
And at the moment, these guys, these investors are, the way the app is funded. And when we talked in the preparation, you said a revenue model is planned, but you haven't yet monetized.
Yeah, so we have been very focused on growth. That's been our strategy, kind of focus area till now. Now we're starting to make experiments. So we have a lot of, I hope, good ideas on how we can make money so that we can be a sustainable business, because we want to be an enduring company. We have a big thing we want to do in the world, and it's going to take time, and we want to be as independent as we can long term.
And for you to distribute the app or to grow, I mean, we learned earlier from Apps Flyer, 8 out of 10 apps never leave the App Store. Nobody downloads it. You're completely hidden. I guess you have a strong PR strategy. You're also advertising, or how do you grow your business internationally?
So we have done various things. I mean, of course, I'd love to say it was 100% organic growth, and it's just because we have a great product, but there is more to it. We have worked with an influencer strategy, which has worked very well for us. We do some paid acquisition, Facebook, Google, this usual stuff. We also have a large ambassador program, so those are people who are like extra committed and wonderful users who have said, yes, I'm willing to go out and spread information about reproductive health and do this under a Clue name. So we do many things to try and kind of activate our community to also activate their communities.
And I guess the best marketing for you is the word of mouth of your users. Is it a majority of your growth?
Yes.
Is organic?
It is organic, and we try to do everything we can to become better at that. There's also all this kind of craftsmanship when you grow an app, which is like, how do you do the app store optimization, for search, and How do you make sure you get good reviews? How do you try and bump the ranking? Like there's all these things that a consumer will never ever think about, but which really is truly important to grow an app.
And you are co-founder, so there are other founders. So your co-founders, who's doing what? What are you doing? And
so I founded the company with 4 other guys, or 4 guys, I suppose to say, 4 men. One of them, my partner, Hans. We have 2 children together. And so Hans and I, we have learned over the years that we make each other better. So we actually try to have a huge overlap on what we do. We don't necessarily have 2 very distinct roles. We find that we tend to make better decisions when we are both having an eye on whatever it is. That's the question at hand.
So you're partners in the private and in the work life.
We are, and I think this is actually a really interesting trend. I would go as far to say, I think as more women start companies, you will see that more women want to start with their personal partners, because that's kind of how, well, that's one way of making the work-life balance a little bit easier to juggle and kind of make sure that everybody is pulling in the same direction. I've had the idea before I met Hans, so I think it was just like a very amazing stroke of luck that the universe brought me this guy who I could, fall in love with, but who was also very passionate about this idea, and I could never have built Clue without my co-founder.
Who's doing the technical side, the coding, the programming of the app?
Oh, we have a large engineering team.
But you're not technical and
no.
None of them. And so femtech, female tech, is a new emerging area. Can you give the audience a little bit more background on what this is, actually?
Yeah, so it really started because I was doing research to be on a panel at TechCrunch talking about whatever, and I was starting to see, like, what are other people in this area doing, and I saw that nobody had a good term for what they're doing, and I could see there are so many new products and services emerging that are trying to solve problems within female health, and I was like, wow, this is really a whole new business category on the rise, and I was like, we need a term for this, and we called it femtech, as we know fintech for financial new technologies. There really is femtech, and it has been picked up really, really nicely, by large media. I have seen femtech events. I get, people are now using this term, and I think it's really helpful to have a term for this whole new body of services and products, because it makes it easier to have femtech conferences. You can have femtech investors. You can identify, I'm a femtech investor or a femtech entrepreneur. And you would see products spanning from, connected sex toys to connected breast pumps to analytics tools to make you understand if you're going to be successful having fertility treatment, to all kind of other things. Yeah.
And of femtech, I guess you are the largest business globally, right? I mean, we did a bit of research.
I would love to just say yes, straight out, yes. I think it's fair to say that we are the leader in our category, but we do have a couple of Chinese competitors who are very big in China, but they are not global players. Yeah, really.
And is the Chinese market different for your business than the German market, for example?
It is quite different. The business model we see in China are much more kind of e-commerce sitting in the product. But because of the whole distribution of apps in China, it's a very different market to penetrate. And we haven't, I wouldn't say we have done a serious effort yet. Our app is in Chinese and 14 other languages, but we can definitely do much more. And we're going to get there. We'll get there.
And I think in China there was a recent, actually failed IPO. I don't think they went public, but it was like this beauty app which helps you to style yourself, and there were very high numbers. And if you think about your app, I mean, it's obviously very sticky because you're using it continuously. You said you have 5 million, I guess, monthly users. Isn't it tempting to start trying to sell to them e-commerce products and using the user base, or is it not the purpose?
I think we live and die by the trust of our users. In the end, I'm asking our users, or we are asking our users to trust us with extremely intimate data. They'll only do that if they trust we'll take good care of their data. And I think making sure we don't push products in a way that feels inappropriate is really key. So we are very careful, very user-centric, and we really try to do what users will find helpful.
It's a wonderful story. I'm very proud that you came. One last question. Do you own any Bitcoin?
I do not, but actually the whole blockchain technology is, I think, extremely fascinating, and we are having ideas around maybe we could do a currency ourselves in some format. So let's see. I think Bitcoin is going to be something on my mind for the coming time.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ida,
Thank
for
you
coming.
for having
Wow.
me. Thank you. Thank you.